I have never had a simple relationship with women. And honestly, maybe that's not a bad thing. Because the truth is, all those complicated situations, the confusion, the pain, they force me to look at myself. This video isn't advice. I'm not here to teach you anything. This is just me being honest about what I felt, what I've done, and what I'm still figuring out. So if you ever felt anxious, lost, avoidant, addicted to attention, or like you keep sabotaging real connection without even meaning to, maybe you will recognize some of your own story into mine. Part 1, where it all started. I didn't grow up feeling safe. Not emotionally, not mentally. Being in foster care with all the instability made me constantly crave closeness, but I could never really trust it. It felt like connection could vanish at any moment. I remember feeling invisible, like I didn't matter unless I was needed. So I became obsessed with being seen. With being chosen, validation became a form of survival for me. And that same dynamic followed me into adulthood, into dating, into love. Today, we have a million of options, but people still act like they have nothing. We are drowning in choices, but starving for connection. Part 2. Anxious-avoidant dynamics. I used to swing between craving connection and completely shutting down. One day, I wanted deep love. The next day, I felt trapped by it. It was like my nervous system couldn't handle intimacy. It was a loop I didn't even know I was in. Reading the book Attached made me realize I was both anxious and avoidant. I was scared to be left and scared to be fully seen. That inner war played out in almost every relationship I had. Part 3. Dating apps and hookups. There was a phase where dating apps were part of my daily routine. Swipe, match, dopamine, again and again. But it never really satisfied me. Some dates looked good on paper, some hookups felt exciting in the moment, but afterwards I felt even more disconnected. I wasn't connecting, I was escaping. Attention without intimacy became normal. But normal doesn't mean fulfilling. The speed of dating apps made it all transactional. Hookups became normal, but normal doesn't mean fulfilling. Part 4. Porn. Porn was one of those things I used to escape when I felt emotionally overwhelmed. It was easy. It was always there, no rejection, no effort, but it was always numbing me. The more I used it, the harder it became to be present during real intimacy. Because of that, sex felt mechanical, and I realized I was using it to avoid pain, stress, and real vulnerability. Just like apps and hookups, porn gave me attention without any risks, but it always left me emptier. Part 5. My dating life. I have dated a lot of women. I have had attention. I have had experiences. But inside, I often felt anxious and disconnected. At one point, I was in an open relationship because I was afraid to be trapped. I needed the door open. But the truth is, I was just afraid to commit fully. To risk being hurt. To risk someone seeing all of me. There was a woman who could have reached me, but I wasn't ready. I pushed her away before she had a chance. Part 6. Why the struggles were needed. Looking back, all those complicated situations weren't random. They were mirrors. Every messy situation showed me something I needed to heal. Every woman I pushed away revealed a part of me I was afraid to look at. It wasn't about them, it was about me. Once I saw that, I could finally stop blaming and start growing. What helped me to heal? Things only really started to shift when I showed down and turned inward. I started journaling, doing breath work, reading, sitting with silence, and I stopped running from my triggers and started listening to them. And instead of escaping, I stayed. Now I don't just regulate to be calm. I regulate to stay connected to who I really am. You don't heal by finding the perfect person. You heal by learning to trust life again. Part 8. Cold approach. So recently I went to Utrecht Central, a city in the Netherlands, and I approached 20 women just on purpose. Not to get a number, not to flex, but to challenge my own discomfort. That day taught me a lot about being present, rejection, being in the flow, about what happens to you when you lead yourself without needing anything back from the woman. Most of the women smiled, some weren't interested. but I left feeling more alive. Because for once, I wasn't chasing, I was connecting. Part 9, where I am right now. Right now, I'm not trying to chase anymore. Not women, not seeking validation, not the fantasy that something external will fix me. I still have days where I get lost. A lot of those days. But now I know why. Because I stopped focusing inward. Now I just want to have peace, man. Today I want alignment with my values, not attention. If you're struggling with women, don't fix woman, fix the mirror. With brother, we don't lack options, we lack connection. And connection starts all with you.